Well, good evening, everyone, and a early happy 4th of July. Um, we're excited to see you here, and one of the great pleasures of my life is introducing our president and CEO, Walt West, and it's he's almost like Walt Disney in his ability to bring amazing things out of almost nothing, out of the poor real estate that's around. Walt comes up with amazing concepts, amazing ideas. He's a wonderful, as you can tell by his voice here shortly, he's a wonderful radio personality, and he's been in this business for a long time. And Walt, I'll let you tell these guys a little bit more about yourself and some of your background.
Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. Thanks a lot, Craig. Tough act to follow. And yes, I do live in Anaheim, and so yes, I do introduce myself as Walt, as in Disney. I've been in this business since 1985, 32 years ago, 33 years ago next month in August. Yikes. I started in a mutual company, Connecticut Mutual. I got two of the top production awards the first full year I was there, in MDRT credits and number of policies sold. And Connecticut Mutual had issues. I left. I joined an outfit called Gene Morgan Financial, was a charting the market investment strategist on the technical side. And that he said to the world on his TV show that if you invest with me, you can never get hurt. And the SEC didn't think too highly of that. So that pooped out. So I've done pretty much all aspects of finance. I've worked with, building and working with IMOs and groups of distribution. I have worked with stock brokerage firms in building departments of insurance, regional broker dealers in the LA area. So I have actually been very much on both sides of the fence with Wall Street, and then of course from the insurance side with the index side. And I bailed on Wall Street in the early 2000s. It just wasn't my ballywig. I'm more of a relational person, not transactional. And I saw the ups and downs in the market and realized there's got to be a better way. And of course, we have that with our index stuff that's doing much better and getting better all the time. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple of things. First, the goals and incentives of how you can actually acquire ownership in probably one of the most premier IMOs, insurance marketing organizations in the country that's developing, which is us, WSLG. And I say that because in my dealings with IMOs back in the day, I'd always ask them about the M word, marketing. Okay, great. You've got all these fabulous products. Who in the heck have you got for me to talk to sell these products so everybody wins? And they all kind of, hemmed and holding hot, and they're working on it, and they'll get back to you. And there really wasn't a whole lot they had that was there to help us. And, we're kind of out there in the wild, wild west trying to do our own thing. And that's what really appealed to me for a number of things here with what we're doing here with Wealth Strategies Leadership Group is, first and foremost, is marketing. We help you, and we actually help you and work with you in marketing, in finding quality folks to talk to, and do it once, and you can do it over and over again. So once you set this thing up and doing specifically with schools, you really are done. And I'm going to go through an illustration here real quick in a moment after the goals and incentives of how you really can, with not a whole lot of effort, have $400,000 plus in income in the next probably 12 to 15 months. But to start with, there's three ways to make money, and that is to write your own pen, which I'm going to come back to and show you how to make $400,000. Second is ownership. Who here in their gallivantings has really gotten an opportunity to own something in the big company you're working with or an IMO? If you guys are familiar with Richard Branson, who started Virgin Everything, he never did it all alone. He always had partners. He had entities he was working with, whether he got deals from Boeing to lease the planes or investors to invest. He owned Necker Island, and he didn't have $300,000 when he bought Necker Island in the Caribbean, and he had to borrow the money. And now it's rented per day for $60,000. So the point is here, we're building a team, TEAM, and Kelly talked a little bit about it on Monday. And my definition of a team is together, everyone achieves and accomplishes more. No one is an island. And with this, we've got a group that we're going to grow and build and own. and there's plenty of room at the top. It's always lonely. So if you want to get at the top, come join us. So in terms of goals and incentives, between now and October 1st, go to the next slide, Craig. There's a way for you to own, and it's given to you of sorts. It's not bought. It's never bought. Piece of the action here in WSLG, and we have a 2-year goal of recruiting 10,000 agents. Now that may sound like a lofty goal, but Craig and Kelly have done it before, and many of you know that your second million is always easier. And so if they've done it once, they are ripping and roaring, even right now during the summer, of acquiring quality agents. And many of you are familiar with the 80-20 rule, but we're going to tone it down and do it on a 85-15. And we're only going to admit that 15% of the 10,000 are actually going to be full-time, producing, successful, serious agents. So, and if they write 8 apps a month, and I'm going to show you how you can do that very easily in a moment, 15,000 agents at 8 apps a piece is 12,000 apps. And we use $500 of annual premium when we do college planning for monthly premium. And so that means that $6,000 of premium a year times your 12,000 apps, which of course is $72 million of annualized premium written every single month. And we are advanced 75% of that, so that means that all of us in the field are going to receive $54 million. And profit on that is, with the overrides and what we have, is $27 million a month in terms of where we are. So, in other words, folks, we're talking millions of dollars in premium, in life insurance, and helping, at least 12,000 families a month, which is, 120, 150,000 families a year. Do you think we get a few referrals out of those folks? So that means that the annual profit is $324 million. And when you value a company, you typically do 3 times earnings, and that is just shy of $1 million, $972 million. Now, when you look at an investment, this is a 2-year goal, and you invest in a business, the typical return on investment is 3 years. We're talking about doing this and having a $1 million business in less time, in 2 years. And from what I've been able to glean and what we're doing, it is a very doable goal. So, for those of you who decide to want to get involved and get a piece of this action, there is a way to do that. And you're going to go to the next slide, Craig.
That it should be up with the ownership award.
There it is. There's the ownership award. I'm actually on a really slow internet. So the qualifications for 1/16 of 1% is by submitted October 1st of this year, is you have to write $50,000 of life premium. And again, I'm going to go over that in a minute, so stay tuned. And that means the dividends are $202,000 on an annual basis. So the equity is worth $606,000. And you're going to get 1/16 of 1% in that. Now, if you want a bigger piece, then double that. You can do $100,000 in annualized premium by the 1st of October. And the dividends are $405,000, which of course equity is $1.2+ million in equity. And the third is 1/4 of 1% is $200,000 of life premium, which of course is $810,000 annually, or the equity is $2.4 million. Now, you might think, well, how in the heck am I going to write $50,000? It's easier than you think, which I'm going to go over this. And this is something that you keep, you own, and this is your retirement. Because remember, there's 3 ways to earn in this business, and what we are doing, 2 of them are unheard of. First is obviously your own. Go ahead.
If I could just jump in here a little bit, Walt. What we're talking about is this is 3 times earnings. If we establish a little bit of a younger agent base, companies will buy a little bit more youth at least 5 times earnings, or 6 or 7 times earnings. If we have really good persistency, which we're very good at, and when we talk about doing looking over the FAFSA forms and doing financial needs analysis on our clients because we care about them and we want to make sure that the products that we're moving in their direction are appropriate for that client and that they have the ability to stay with it. In previous ventures, we were at the very top of whatever company we were focusing on. We were at the top of their persistency rating, and if you've got good persistency, in addition, in excess of 13 months, is how most of them rate it. They'll get you up to 10 times earnings. So these figures are based on 3 times earnings,
very conservative.
Very conservative.
And what that means is, and the reason why the persistency is high is we're dealing with middle schools and elementary schools. Mom and dad need to know they've got to have a real solid way to get that kid through college, and they are going to take that plan and keep it. They're not going to cancel it because they don't want to lose out and miss out on their ability to have their child go to and through college. So the incentive to do this is amazing. And there's 2 reasons why I'm involved in this, and that is, if you look at just the opportunity, 2 big offers are that, in sales are fear of loss and sense of urgency. Well, sense of urgency is because every single day, mom and dad are seeing their child or children at home, and it's like, how in the heck am I going to get this kid through college? And the second is fear of loss. If they're in a 529 plan and it's in a mutual fund, and mutual funds typically prior to 2008 had a crash about every 3 or 4 years, that means that statistically their portfolio is going to crash during college. And if they lose 20 or 30% conservatively, how in the heck are they going to write that check for the following year? So this is another reason why what we're offering on an index perspective makes all the sense in the world. So you have to remember that the equity and the ownership that we are providing and giving is never ever sold, and nobody's going to buy it, and we're certainly not going to sell any of it. It has been given away as a reward simply by doing what we're supposed to do anyway, by achieving and working and writing and helping families and doing great business and solid business. So that's that. And if you're interested, now, by the way, how is it all submitted by October 1st? I want to go over this real quick. The main company we're using is American National. American National has e-apps. And if you do an e-app, that's, of course, the application is filled out online. We get incentives and underwriting concessions if we do that. And it's very easy to do. You simply ask the client, hey, can I fill this out online to have your approval? So then you ask them all the pertinent questions, beneficiary, social, and such. And you don't have to sit there in front of the client and have them sign all these forms and sign all these pages, kind of like buying a car, and take time to do that. So you're being more efficient and effective with your selling time, and you're also not missing any forms or anything when they update a form or whatever, which, of course, never happens. When you submit business, so it's all solid business. It's done very quickly, electronically, and in many instances, and I know Kelly says you can write a case on Monday and it could be approved on Tuesday or Wednesday, but you can write a case on Monday and you could be paid your advance by Friday. So it's a win-win for everyone in that regard. So even if it's submitted by October 1st electronically, it counts as business. So in terms of teaching you how to do this and help you do this, again, we are doing workshops in schools. And the assumption here is, conservatively, you're going to do 1 a month. If you're really serious, you're going to do 2 a month. But I'm just going to keep it basic and simple. So let's say that you did a seminar between now and October 1st. And all you had at the seminar were 20 parents, 20 parental units. And 75% of them realized that they were interested and wanted to learn more about how in the heck to get their kid through college through this IUL thing that we do in our presentation. Well, you're going to get appointments with 3/4 of them, and you're going to write business and have it issued paid with half of them. So that's 7.5, and I'm upping it to 8. So there's your 8 applications. You might write one on a wife, or you might slip up and sell more than you think, which is the goal. So with 8 sales, times $6,000 of annual premium, which is $500 a month, your target premium is $48,000. You're just a hair's breadth away from that $50,000 mark. So if you did 2 seminars between now and October 1st, you might slip up and do $100,000 of premium. American National is giving us a $70,000, 70% commission. So your commission is $33,500, of which your advance is $25,200. So doing a seminar simply on an advance perspective, you're pulling $25,000 a month because you're going to do them all year, right? That times 12 is $302,000, with the balance of what you earn on your advance in months after 10 months, 10, 11, 12, you're going to get the balance of about $8,300 per case, $83 on those cases. So there's your $402,000 of income, of commissions. Where else, just given one seminar a month, are you able to earn $400,000+? If you can find one, I really appreciate it. You can let me know. And additionally, you're going to slip up and sell annuities to mom and dad because they like the concept and they want to roll over their 401k IRA. We're going to be adding annuities to the mix pretty quickly here. So this is just simply life insurance through American National. We're also going to be adding an additional company. So, we've got a lot going and a lot in the books happening. So the potential of even earning excess of that just doing one seminar a month is, as some say, a dog with a note in it is probably going to be able to do this as well. So the 3 ways to make the income are: 1, writing your own pen, which just went over. Secondly is you can build your own agency. Anyone you bring in, even if it's a brand new agent who's never sold insurance before, because you're going to help them and work with them, and they know folks that need this, you earn 10% override on everything they write. And if they follow your example and bring folks in, you're going to earn 5% override on anything they do, and it actually goes down 5 deep. So you could earn a lot of extra money just by helping folks do what you do, duplicate yourself. So therefore, a portion of your income is not made up on your efforts, but others, which again is how wealth is created. And thirdly, of course, is having an ownership in WSLG. So that's that. Now, quickly, what I want to do is talk about how to approach schools really fast. And to do that, it's really more of a mindset, and isn't that more challenging than you think. Yes, it takes some effort. Yeah, you got to put some clothes on and get out the door and look nice and smell nice. But this is a relationship business, and it's one-to-one. And so, really, again, you've got a sense of urgency and a fear of loss, which is a big motivator for these schools to do that. And we're approaching private schools because a majority of the parents who are sending their child to private schools is because they are college-bound. And there's less politics involved typically than in public schools as well. So all you need basically is a list of schools to go to. We're recommending elementary and possibly junior high. And the Life Changer Year Award, which we use through National Life. And that basically is just a way to give back to the school. Say, hey, doing what you do, there's 17 different awards that are handed out on an annual basis. The number 1 award is $10,000, $5,000 is the individual, and $5,000 is school on doing what they do normally. But what you're doing is you're going to walk into school, and what I do is, as cheesy as it may sound, I really do. I say, hey, I've been out with a hall pass. I need to see the principal. And typically the receptionist, secretary realizes it, and she thinks it's kind of cute. And I've done this a lot, and yes, I do. And the goal is I need to see the principal. And they actually take me seriously. You're there, you are dressed professionally, and you say, hey, I'm here for 2 reasons. 1, the Life Changer Year Award, and secondly, to introduce parents on how to pay for college better, easier, quicker, cheaper, and faster. There are issues, and what we also use is the 2-page college smart strategy brochure that we have, which basically is about half of our presentation on 2 pages, and you can put your name and number on that, so it's kind of like a big business card. And on there is the fact there's a lot of issues with the 529 plan. First and foremost, in California, at least where I'm from, it is not deductible. Secondly, it's in the market, and we've talked about the risk on there. And third, there's fees that Wall Street would love to take from the parent, which is not a good thing anyway. And most importantly, over 22% of the money in the 529 plan is penalized by the parent with less aid. So it's kind of a crack up. You take it, they give us, and then they take it away. So it really doesn't make sense to put money in the 529 plan for any number of reasons. And I kind of briefly go over that and point it out on the brochure. And the last thing I mention is that private schools, in many instances, private universities, are more generous in giving financial aid than public schools because they have more money to play with. So the net cost in many instances is less through a private university than a public. Now, a lot of administrators know this, but parents don't, and they don't even try to apply to a school they might want to, that the kid may want to go to, because they're afraid they can't afford it. Hence, that's why we're doing the planning. Hence, we want to enlighten them and educate them in that regard. And all the more reason why we need to be there to talk to the parents about these important issues, college related. So just in the interest of time, that's about it. I have this all on a 3-page printout, and it's on video as well on YouTube. So if you want to give me a call or contact us, be happy to send this out to you. And all you really have to do is follow the bouncing ball. The best time to go approach schools is usually about 9 in the morning till probably 12 or 1 at best. Even if you only do it for from 9 till noon, you can get a lot of schools in, and it works best if you have about 20 schools that you're going around. You can hit, 4 or 5 a day. If you do this for 5 days, you've hit all 20 schools, and then trying to catch the principal. It's a good thing to think about doing it during the summer, because one, you want to set stuff up for obviously when school starts, and that's when a lot of them start this kind of thing anyway. And secondly, the principals are typically there during the summer, but they aren't dealing with parents, they're not dealing with students, they're not dealing with classes, they're not dealing with trying to go and raise money and sponsors. They're there, setting stuff up and recuperating from last year and getting ready for next year. So just because it's summertime doesn't mean you can't find a school that's doing summer school or gear it up and set it up for hitting the ground running when school starts.
Outstanding. Well, Walt, I want to thank you very much for taking your time out. You're broadcasting remotely right now from Las Vegas. I didn't point that out at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I am.
Through the miracle of all of our wonderful technology, we have the ability to bring you in from sunny and I'm sure hot Las Vegas.
It's only 103 in the shade.
That's nothing. That's nothing. Outstanding, Bill. I hope once again everybody has a wonderful 4th of July, and
Very safe and sane.
We'll be having additional trainings on some of this stuff and trainings on some of the ins and outs of the policies through our carriers and certainly American National. And I do want to point out that one little tidbit that you mentioned, and I'm not sure that everybody really gets the significance of that. We have had in 1 or 2 cases policies issued and agents paid in a 24-hour period. And so they have a really good streamlined underwriting, and they do things almost entirely over the internet, and clients can be made covered and agents paid quickly, and that in itself is a wonderful thing. But we'll be talking about
it. Sure is, because our goal here is we want to get paid. I mean, we want to help parents, but we're not the Red Cross.
We're not doing it for nothing. We will have some really good experts from the field that have sold a lot of different homes from a lot of different companies that will be coming on board here shortly, and they can talk about having the knowledge about what makes American National really, really special. And again, they're not they're not going to be our only carrier.
No,
But
they're not.
and a lot of people talk about, yeah, well, their annuities aren't that good. We've got some people that are saying they're some of the best in the industry, and there's a misunderstanding. And so that's going to be exciting coming down the road here shortly. But I just want to, kind of put that little tidbit out for the field that we are indeed going to be having a little bit more, of the technical end of the policies coming forward in some of these leadership things, and explaining about why you can be not only comfortable but excited to represent at least this company and some of the other ones that we're bringing on board for your clients. So without any further ado, I'll just say thank you for attending. Have a great 4th of July. Stay safe, and make sure that you're not holding on to any fireworks when you light them.
Absolutely.
Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, everyone. God bless. We'll catch up next.
Have a great evening.
Good night.